What's up out there, model makers? If you are a faithful follower of the Kit Maker Network, as I am, you may have seen on one of Jim Starkweather's Monday Morning Mail Call videos that one of the goodies that he pulled out of the box was the U.S. Army bulldozer kit from miniart. And I was immediately interested. I've been eyeballing this thing for a long time. I kind of dig bulldozers, and I've been kind of wanting to try an armor kit, although I guess technically this might not qualify as armor. But at any rate, I contacted Jim, and before too long, the big box arrived on my doorstep. And after having gotten through several other projects, I'm finally ready to start on this thing. And I admit that part of the reason that I haven't started on it sooner is because I have been, quite frankly, terrified to start on this thing. I don't know if you caught it in the quick view that I gave you there of the box top, but right up here it says 726 parts. So this thing is going to be pretty substantial, and maybe a terrible idea for me to build this as my first tracked vehicle, but hey, it is what it is. It'll be an adventure, and if you guys are interested and I can keep you entertained and informed enough, you can follow along right here, because I will be doing a complete video build blog of this project. But the first thing that we have to do is a little bit of an unboxing review and see what we've got here in front of us. So let's have a look. First things first, the box itself, there's not a lot to say about it. It's rectangular, it's oblong, it has a top and a bottom, and a nice picture of the bulldozer on the front. The back is bare white, so if you need a handy photo reflector, then there you go. That makes a pretty good one. You can use that for some fill light. Now, inside the box, we've got a lot of stuff, and I can tell you that you would know it's a lot of stuff even if you didn't actually open it and look inside, because it's just hefty. I mean, you can just, you can tell that there's a lot of parts, in here. So we're going to take a look at all those. I'm going to pull all that stuff out of the bag, and then we're going to have a look at the instruction sheet and see exactly what we are in store for with this adventure. One thing that I can already tell you is kind of nice, I guess. Maybe some people object to it. And that is that even with all 9,000 sprues, we won't spend a lot of time getting them out of the bags, because basically it's all in the same bag. So let me cut this open and change the camera angle, and we'll get started. Okay, here we go. Now, I am not going to attempt to show you and discuss each and every sprue or each and every part on every sprue. What I really want to do is just give you an idea overall of what you are up against should you choose to attempt this kit. One thing that I have heard with this kit, people talking about it on the old interwebs, is that there are lots of delicate parts, and that the plastic is fairly brittle, and that breakage is an issue. And I can already see, just from picking up this first sprue, that that is at least partly true, because right here with part number 1, which, as you can see, is this very complex bit of plumbing here, that we've already got some breakage. So let me see if I can zoom in on that well enough that you'll be able to see it. If you look right here, It's already broken. It's broken right here. And it's broken right here. So, give you one more chance to look at that and see what I'm talking about there. So, I think that probably is going to be something of an issue. But look, I don't know that that's something I would say is, you know, a miniart thing in particular, because look, those pipes are going to be delicate no matter what, no matter who molded them and no matter what kind of polystyrene they use. If this is in fact more brittle than others, then you know, I'll talk about that as I go along, but suffice it to say that we are going to have to be careful with a lot of these sprues. Okay, having just handled a few more of the sprues, I can already sort of feel that, yes, this plastic is a little bit harder and more brittle. You know, that's just something that you just can kind of tell just with a very minimal amount of handling. But something else that I have definitely already seen is that the detail and the quality of the molding is very good. Take a look at these panels right here. These are floor panels, I believe. And you've got molded in diamond plate texture there, and that's just really outstanding, really well molded there. And just in looking through this entire sprue, there's a lot of little parts on here, and the detail does seem to be very crisp on all of it. And I can also tell that one of the issues with this thing is that there's just going to be a lot of sprue clipping, and you're going to have to be careful. I mean, when you look at this part right here, for example, you've got here, let me get this out of the way so it's not messing up the focus. Right here you've got a very long control stick, a couple of them, and lots of gate runner gates to be cut off in, you know, as part of the process of removing those parts. So that in and of itself is going to be a challenge. And in a few places, you've got, like right here, you've got ejector pin pads that you have to clip off. But overall, I'm not seeing a whole lot of those. Certainly not as many as I have seen in some other kits. All right, we got a big chunky sprue here with some of the major structural parts of the thing, and this is the first place where I've seen any flash. The good news is that it's on the runner and not on any of the actual parts themselves. So far, I haven't seen any flash on any of the parts, just lots and lots of really well molded bits of a bulldozer. Okay, here's another sprue with some large structural parts and some engine parts, and I just continue to be impressed with the resolution and the level of detail. Take a look here at this part, which is the part of the radiator or the radiator grill, and look at the texture that's molded into that. That's just really good. And then look here where you can see the Caterpillar logo molded into those pieces. Just really, really crisp and nice. Okay, more big pieces, and again, just consistently looking very good. One thing that I've been pretty pleased about is that I'm not seeing a lot of significant parting line witnesses either. You know, there are parts where that's just going to be unavoidable, like this one, for example. Let me just pull the camera down here where it's a little bit easier to look at this. This particular part right here, you know, that's a round part, and you're going to have a parting line somewhere in the middle of it. And in fact, you do, and there is a witness there, but it's not really offensive. You know, it's something that can easily be scraped off with your hobby knife blade. So nothing major, and certainly not like there's any flash there to deal with. Okay, now we've got the bag within the bag that was in there. And I suspect that this is the one where we're going to find lots of little parts for the tracks. So let's dump this out and see what we've got, because there are a bunch of sprues in here, and I suspect, yeah, and I can see that already, that a lot of them are the same. So here we go. Those are tracks and track pieces. And this, quite frankly, is terrifying. You can see that there's pins for every one of these track links. So that's going to be a pretty significant portion of the time spent. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those sprues with track parts. So I'm guessing that if you did a count, you'd find that that's probably half of the 726 parts. Who knows? Maybe not that many, but it's definitely going to be a lot of them. Okay, then the rest of these small sprues just are various small bits and pieces of what looks like the engine and the running gear. So, you know, not a whole lot to talk about there. It's just a bunch of parts. Now this is impressive. Okay, let me clear away some of these other things so that we can have a good look at what I'm holding in my hand here, if you didn't already see it, because this is pretty cool. There's 2 of these sprues, and take a look right here. Let's get the camera down here again, get the angle fixed a little bit. Look at that spring over there on the right hand side. Check that out. That is slide molded, obviously, because they've molded the inside of the spring, and then managed to get the spaces in the coils as well. Wow. That is pretty cool. I have to say that that's one of the most impressive bits of scale model injection molding that I think I've ever seen. So that's fun. And then you immediately get to go over here and see, you know, a little tiny part like that you're going to have to clip off without breaking. So this thing is going to be just a huge adventure, and who knows how long it's going to take. It's going to take as long as it takes, I guess. Now, here is the grand total of the clear parts, the decals, and the photo etch, all in one tiny little bag. So not a whole lot to deal with there. And I'm sure that by the time I get to those, I'm going to be hugely relieved, because it'll mean that I'm almost done. Now let's have a look at the instruction sheet, which itself is pretty cool and speaks volumes about the overall quality and attention to detail on this kit. Basically, this is like a small magazine. You can see how many pages it's got there. It's you know, full color, printed on glossy paper, and just basically just a really professional presentation. So let's see what's inside. All right, nice sprue map. That's something that I always appreciate. That's just, you know, one of those nice little touches that comes in handy on occasion. Okay, lots and lots of really nice, crisp illustrations. These are obviously developed from the CAD models, which is always a good thing, always makes for nice illustrations in an instruction sheet. And they look fairly straightforward, and I like the fact that they're broken up into lots of steps. They're not trying to cut corners and save pages by combining lots of things into a few poorly explained steps. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to instructions, I would way rather have too many than not enough. I'm perfectly capable of choosing which ones to ignore myself. Yes, Dragon, I'm talking to you guys. Okay, so I don't think there's really a whole lot to say here. I'm not going to be, spending a lot of your time by looking at and talking about each and every step. That would be just silly. So we'll just flip through here, see if there's anything major to note. Each track link contains 36 tracks. That's something significant to note. This is kind of the raw truth here of what I'm going to be up against, because look at the number of parts in each one of these track assemblies. Oh my goodness. This is going to be crazy. I can see here though that these tracks are supposed to go together without glue, so that will be interesting to see how that actually works out. I assume that it has to be that way for them to actually function. So hey, if it's all just snapped together, that won't be too bad. There'll just be lots of them to snap together. All right, so you can see that basically the strategy is to build in sub-assemblies and combine, which is great. And it's nice because it doesn't appear that there's going to be a whole lot of painting along the way. I mean, what I'm hoping is that I could build all the way up to this point before I ever even crack open the paint. I don't know if that's actually going to prove to be true, but it's a goal to shoot for. And there you go. The last thing you get to then is a nice full color page of color callouts, which is very beautifully done. I think it's going to be a little bit wasted on me because honestly, I think that I am probably planning on doing this in Caterpillar yellow. The military version is cool, but I don't know that I'm ever going to do more than one of these. And I would like to have the Caterpillar in my collection in its all of its iconic yellow glory. Even though after doing my iconic yellow Piper Cub, I swore I would never paint any yellow models again. So we'll see. By the time I get there, I may change my mind. Or it may be so long from now that by the time I get there, I have forgotten that I decided to do that. Wow, what a kit, huh? That's going to be quite an adventure. I confess that I've never built anything like this, and who knows, I may have bitten off more than I can chew, but hopefully you guys will cheer me along the way, and we will arrive at the finish line together, and it will end up being not only a lot of fun, but end up producing a very cool model. I think that this thing represents great value. If I recall correctly, you can get one of these for 40 or 50 bucks, and if parts per dollar is how you measure value in model kits, this one is definitely pretty high with over 700 pieces. So there's certainly going to be enough to occupy even the most serious of model builders. And it's going to be interesting to see how this thing turns out. And I hope you'll stay tuned. All right, guys? Much love.